Would you believe that you can get a full carbon bike with hydraulic brakes, an electronic group set and 50mm deep section carbon wheels for just $1,200? No? Let's find out. I was browsing on AliExpress looking for a good deal on the Wheeltop electronic group set. When I stumbled upon a pre-built bike where the price was so low that I could not resist and I had to buy it. After waiting an entire month and chasing down the delivery driver, I chased the delivery driver, I finally got my hands on the bike, and let me tell ya, I was not disappointed. I will start with unboxing the wheels first and then I will unbox the frame. Inside the box, if you look quickly, we can see the two tires. Ooh. Let's see. Okay, it's removed. As I started unboxing the frame, the first thing I noticed was how well it was packaged. Okay. This is how it arrives. I was curious whether the color would match the description, and luckily it did. Okay, this is the first color I can see, so the color looks fine. But enough talk, let's unbox the entire bike. My first impression of the bike was very positive. I was very pleased with the aesthetics, but one thing stood out. There is some grease installed already, but I don't think it's enough. I would recommend to add some extra grease on like all the parts that are important. So I took the bike to my workstation and made it race ready. The first thing I did was remove the chain and place it in soapy water with the greaser. After swirling it around for a bit, I let it soak. Next I removed the cranks, and again I noticed there was no grease pre-installed. So I grabbed my tube of grease and started applying it. You can really see the difference between greased and ungreased parts. I also checked the wheels and saw that there was no grease on the bearings. So I applied grease to both wheels as well. It's important to add grease to protect your bike's components over the long term. Once the chain was clean, I reinstalled it and added mug of wet lube. The only part left to check was the front fork. I found a bit of grease there, but not enough, so I added some more. After that, I tightened the compression plug and aligned the steering with the wheel. Now it's finally time to take the bike outside for the first test ride. Let's go! I've been testing out the bike for around 50 kilometers so far. I have to say I'm very impressed with the build quality. The shifting is smooth, the braking is great as well. I haven't found any issues so far. For the price of $1,200, I don't think you can go wrong with this bike. Especially if you're like a beginner. A lot of entry bikes cost even more than this, and you don't even get electronic shifting. It is not the lightest and the fastest bike, but if you just like to ride your bike and not on a competitive level, I think this is a great option for you. Of course, this is just my first ride, so I don't know how it will evolve, but I'm very happy. Now let's talk about the positives. The biggest positive is the price. If you want a similar bike with similar specs, for example an electronic group set, hydraulic brakes, full carbon rims, a full carbon frame, integrated handlebars, for an A brand you will pay 3 to 4 times more. For example, the Van Rysel RCR Rival cost $4,200, while the Trek Madone is priced as $6,500. You get 90% of the performance of a top brand bike for a fraction of the price. The seller was always informative and responsive whenever I had questions. The electronic group set is amazing. I haven't had a single issue with shifting. Of course, there are a few negatives too. First, I'm not sure how their warranty system works. I've had problems with other sellers on AliExpress and they don't always honor their promises. Plus, shipping items back to China can be very expensive. I also don't know if I have a warranty on the group set since I didn't buy it from a Wheeltop distributor. I was most disappointed with the wheel set. I ordered the bike assuming I received the retro spec carbon wheels, but ended up with the standard carbon wheels instead. I messaged the seller and they promised to send the correct wheels with my next order. I received a $50 refund for the mix-up, but it's still frustrating when you don't get exactly what you ordered. On some spots the finish of the bike could be better. I noticed a fingerprint on the rear derailleur that I can't remove, making me wonder if it's even new. The handlebar is 42 cm wide and fixed. I asked if they could change it, but that was not possible. If you need a different size, you'll have to spend more money and time making adjustments. The bike's weight around 9 kilograms, which isn't the lightest. Now it's time for the conclusion. I think this is a great bike for the price. When you compare it to other brands, you can't even get a carbon frame for the price of $1,200. Unless you buy from AliExpress, of course. If you're a casual rider or a beginner, this bike is an excellent starting point. I do think it's important to do a full bike check before riding to make sure everything is working properly. I wouldn't expect to win races with this bike as it's not the lightest, but for the price it's really hard to beat. Keep in mind this is just my first impression of the bike. I will make a follow-up video later this year to see how the bike holds up over time. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video guys, maybe even bought this beautiful bike, I can really recommend it. But I wish you guys a long and happy life and I will see you guys in the next video.